Niners fans and Rams fans, it's about that time. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And faithful, it has come down to this last game of the regular season. We win and we're in the playoffs. We don't want to worry about the Saints and the Eagles and what they got going on, but the Niners got to take care of business in SoFi Stadium, LA, City of Angels, and take care of a division rival in the LA Rams. I'm so geeked up for this game. I can't wait for kickoff. But we have a special treat today. I have I would say one of my YouTube brothers here on with me tonight on the Jay in the Bay YouTube channel. And shout out, of course, to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. But I welcome a guest here tonight. He goes by the name of Payo Time, and he's got over 140,000 views on his YouTube channel. He live streams Rams games. And I think he's got about a 1.33 thousand subscribers. So got to give it up for one of my YouTube brothers, Payo Time. Let's say, what's good?
Hello. It is so good to be on Jay in the Bay. And I have practiced that for like so many times. I've been practicing for months. No, Jay, it is a pleasure to be with you, my friend. And yeah, thanks for having me on your channel to preview this game. I know for the Ramley, this game means something different than it does for the Niners faithful. However, I think equally as important, the outcomes are different for a Rams win versus a Niners win. The Rams and Rams fans, we would love to win this, secure the number 2 seed in the playoffs, and then potentially send the Niners, our division rival, out of the playoffs, depending how the Saints and Falcons play out. But in general, though, as a football fan first, how can you not be stoked for this game? 2 division rivals, final week of the season, lots to play for, and we're gonna see who wins this game.
Hey, absolutely. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, I envisioned this team would not need to beat the LA Rams just to get into the playoffs. If I remember correctly, me and Payo Time on his YouTube channel, we did a prediction of the 49ers season, and I had the 49ers, going 12-5, I believe. So obviously, we're falling a little short of that this year. But man, I mean, what can you ask for? It's going to be a stressful Sunday, that's for sure. But hey, the 49ers take care of business. We're in the playoffs. What more could you ask for? Obviously, there's some question marks on the 49ers side of things with quarterback, with injuries, with COVID. So we'll definitely get into that. But for those that don't know Payo Time, make sure to check out Payo Time on his social media. All his social media links are in the description of this video. Make sure you check him out, give him a follow. But what are your expectations of this game? Obviously, you said the Rams have, obviously the Rams don't necessarily need to win this game. They're still in the playoffs. But what will it mean for the Rams if they win this game?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, they're the number 2 seed, everything, all that, jazz for sure. There is the fan element of the Rams have lost to the 49ers for 5 stinking straight games. And we are fed up with losing to the Niners. And I really think that, they talk about the sports psychology and that the Niners have a psychological edge over the Rams. And I remember, earlier in the season when the Niners beat the Rams, I saw all the memes about Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and the daddy memes, right? And Sean McVay's photoshopped on a kid that Kyle Shanahan's like holding his hand. It's funny, but it's funny but infuriating if you're a Rams fan. And so I would love this to be the end of that losing streak. To beat the division rival, hopefully maybe even send them packing for the season and go into the playoffs on a high note. That would be fantastic. And I think we got a super chat we got to shout out there.
Absolutely. I got to say, hot Digging it, dog. We got 49ers first takes with a $5 contribution to the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Man, I appreciate you. 49ers first takes. Also a great content creator. Talks about the faithful, the Niner Empire. Huge shout out to you. 49ers first take says, OMG, love you dudes. Two of my favorite human beings, let alone YouTubers, man. I appreciate that, man.
Thank
you. Kind. You are too kind.
Too kind, Aaron.
But we got to say what's up to the people.
Absolutely, we do.
Comments. It's always a hell of a show when people are showing love in the comments. I love to have people involved with the show. We have Stunner Phil Moore. What's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream, man. Happy New Year to you. Hopefully everything is well for you. We got Trey Lance fan from NDSU. What's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream, man. He says, sup to the 49ers organization. I'm all the way out from North Dakota. Is Trey Lance starting? Man, that is the $1 million question
on everyone's mind. Kyle Shanahan was so annoying in his press conference when I watched it. I'm like, oh, come on, just Kyle. Like, just announce your starter.
Yeah, that would not make sense at all for the 49ers to do right now to announce
the competitive edge, right?
It's great gamesmanship because, if Trey Lance is in there, this Rams defense is going to have to play much different than it would, I feel, against Jimmy G. Now, for those that don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Jimmy G injured his thumb in the Thursday night football game against the Tennessee Titans, thumbgate. He missed last week's game against the Houston Texans, and for the past 2 days, Jimmy G has gripped the football and he's thrown the football. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Jimmy G has played very well against the Rams. He's won 4 out of 5 games that he was in versus the Rams. And let's be real, Jimmy G has played well. The past 2 months, that Tennessee game, I don't know what happened, but Jimmy G has played well. If it was up to me, obviously, I just don't think Jimmy G would be 100%. I would roll with Trey, but we'll see what happens. We really won't know until, I would say, Saturday. I think that's when we'll know for sure. But Trey brings up, the Trey Lance fan brings up a great question that I was going to ask you. Payo Time. So, as a Rams fan, who would you rather face, Jimmy G or Trey Lance?
Oh, it's sort of a pick your poison sort of thing, because there's the mindset of, hey, we know what Jimmy G is. However, Jimmy G has played quite well against the Rams, and it seems like whenever he plays the Rams, he's in the Super Bowl and he's playing, lights out. Now, that being said, some of those games, Jimmy hasn't had to do a lot. Like earlier this year, you guys ran it on us like 43, 44 times, and you just ran it down our throats. And Jimmy G wasn't asked to do a whole lot. I think he still had 2 touchdown passes in the game. But I'm really, curious to see what happens with Trey Lance. There is the element of, he's a rookie. And, there's that stigma and stereotype that comes with a rookie of growing pains or take your lumps, however you want to call it. And, maybe he's more prone to make a mistake. He definitely brings a, skill set that Jimmy G just does not have in his repertoire. But, I think to answer the question, I personally would rather see Trey Lance for the rookie mindset late. It's a big game. It would be the biggest game of Trey Lance's young career, right? Jimmy's played in big games before. He would, I don't think that Jimmy would be put in a situation to make the Jimmy G mistakes that Niner fans love so much every now and then. But yeah, I could definitely see, if Jimmy's healthy, they're probably going to roll with Jimmy, and because he is their starter until they say otherwise, where Lance is the future. But if Jimmy's not cleared to play, then I see them rolling with Lance, and I have no doubt that Kyle Shanahan will have his shenanigans up and running with him.
Man, I would love to see Trey Lance again, but you talk about this is a must-win game for the 49ers. Obviously, Jimmy has played in, 15 games this year. So, obviously, he's got the experience on, by his side. We beat the Rams earlier this year, 31-10. Jimmy was under center. And, what I've noticed over these past 5 games is that Kyle Shanahan has always been a step ahead of the Rams coaching staff. Your defensive coordinator is escaping my mind.
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's always been a step ahead of the Rams defensive coordinator, and he was in the game against the Rams this year. And we've always been able to run the ball. I looked at the last 5 games. We've always been able to run the ball. We've always been able to win the time of possession. I think we won the time of possession in every game in the last 5 contests except one, but we still won that game. So, man, the Niners, I just feel like Shanahan is always a step ahead, and we shall see what happens on Sunday. But I got to give a huge shout out and a hot diggity dog to Blue True. Appreciate that. $10. Appreciate that, Blue True. Blue True says, love y'all style and humor at intheBay and Payo Time. Have a great game this weekend, guys. Same to you, same to you, Blue True. Hope all is well for you, and I know you're going to enjoy the game on Sunday. This isn't something that I asked you about prior to the show, but just to put you on the spot, what do you think it is? What's the reason the Niners have been successful against the Rams the last 5 games? I know there's basically 2 constants. It's been Shanahan and Jimmy G. But other than that, is there anything else that stands out?
Well, not even Jimmy G. Stinking Nick Mullins.
Yes.
Yep. Beating the Rams. It ticks me off this day, and I have nightmares of Nick Mullins in my sleep still. Anyway. Big bad Nick Mullins coming after the Rams. So, honestly, it's weird because you look at it over the past 5 games. There's been close games. There's been non-close games. There's been higher scoring games. There's been lower scoring games. So it's interesting to see the variety in the way that the Rams have lost to the Niners. I think at the end of the day, if you want to pinpoint it as close as you can, the Niners have been able to put the Rams in difficult situations that force them to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And we definitely saw that with Jared Goff. And we saw that last game with Matt Stafford with the 2 picks early, including the pick 6. Now, again, we won't go into if the picks were Stafford's fault or not. Regardless, is the Rams committed those turnovers, and it put them in a situation where the Niners were able to, close out the game. And I think that Kyle Shanahan does very well at planning against Coach Sean McVay. Now, that being said, I do have a case that this game can be different. I do have some optimism towards it.
Really?
Yeah. And I know that you had asked me in your well-organized show preview that you send all your interviews. So thank you for doing that, Jay.
No problem.
I believe that this Rams defense has been playing at a very high level the past number of weeks, because the past 2 games, Matt Stafford has thrown or has committed 3 turnovers in each game.
Wow.
The Rams have still won, and they've been able to win because of their defense making plays. Especially in the 3rd and 4th quarter, they've been playing lights out. We didn't let Baltimore score a touchdown on us. Even the only touchdown they got was a pick 6 off Stafford. But what they've done is they've given the Rams offense an opportunity to win the game. And that's what you want from your defense when you get into these big games, right? And so I do believe that Raheem Morris has much improved in his defensive play calling. I believe the defense as a whole has really tightened up in the secondary and in the run stopping. So I'm hopeful that will be a difference, but I also think that you're going to see a healthy dose of Sony PlayStation Michelle. He actually led the NFL in rushing through the month of December. And I'm excited for Sony. And I'm hoping that we can, maybe not be as, dominated on time of possession as in the past matchup.
Hey, and you mentioned, I can't lie. I have to give the Rams their flowers. They've been playing pretty well the last, 6 weeks. I believe they won their last 5 games. Starting off with they beat the Jags, they beat the division rival in the Cardinals, they beat the Seahawks, another division rival, they beat the Vikings, and then they beat the Ravens. So, they've been playing pretty well. Got to give them that. And the 49ers run defense has been playing really well, over, I would say, easily the past 2 months. So that would be a good matchup. It would be strength versus strength. Obviously, I think you guys will have an advantage when it comes to Matt Stafford throwing the ball in the air. And I asked you, how do you think the Rams offense will attack the Niners defense? How do you think? If you can't run the ball, what do you think you're going to do?
Well, oh man, there's so much to talk about with this game, Jay. I'll give a tease. I know we're going to talk about Cooper Kupp later on, but I do think that Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson, even Ben Skoranek at times has gotten involved in the passing game, and I don't necessarily think that they're going to try and dink and dunk it down the field. I had a collaboration with CG Ruthless Sports earlier this week. He talked about the Niners secondary committing some costly turnovers. And maybe the Rams look at that tape and they're like, all right, let's take some shots down the field on these guys and see if we can get a big play or if we can, get that PI call. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to say.
The secondary is definitely the 49ers Achilles heel, this team. We've dealt with injuries from Jason Verrett. Emmanuel Mosley has been in and out of the lineup. We've been starting Josh Norman at corner. And let's be real, Josh Norman is way past his prime. We've been starting rookies opposite of him. And that's been the issue with this team as a secondary. We've allowed a lot, or I should say we've had a lot of defensive pass interference penalties, which definitely flipped the field. And if it's a 50-yard pass and it's a pass interference, hey, they're getting the whole 50 yards. So those penalties definitely hurt us. And we got some of those penalties last week against the Houston Texans. So, man, when we got to play the Rams and their weapons, it's going to be a concern for us. Matt Stafford, he's having an excellent year. He has thrown some interceptions, that's for sure. And hopefully the 49ers can capitalize on that if our pass rush does its job. We're going to need our pass rush, Bosa, Armstead, Key, DJ Jones.
That's a scary line, man. Scary line.
Samson, maybe he can say, hey, Rams, you never should have got rid of me.
Yeah.
Maybe he can maybe he can make his presence felt. But I think that's going to be the key for us on defense is just getting after Stafford, making him feel uncomfortable. I think D'Amico Ryans, our defensive coordinator, has been doing an excellent job. I don't know. He can't do a better job with this patchwork secondary we have. He does a great job in disguising coverages. I know Matt Stafford is a veteran. He's seen it all. But, hey, he did struggle against us, the first matchup we had this year. The Rams only put up 10 points. So, hey, we'll see. But are you concerned about Matt Stafford's interceptions?
It's not that I'm not concerned about it, but I do also want to say that shout out Matt Stafford. He got his first 12-win season of his career this year.
Wow.
Which, for all the years he was with the Lions, he only ever got 11 wins, I think twice. So he had some rough years there. I think we live in such a reactionary society. Stafford clearly has had games where he struggled, and I love that Stafford has been pretty even keeled through all of this. You really see his veteran presence there that, he's quick to move on. He's his own biggest critic for sure. And even the interceptions that aren't his fault, he takes the responsibility. He'll never throw his teammates under the bus. And, you want to see that of the quarterback. And even, Von Miller, he had a great interview earlier this week where he talked about how the Rams treat losing far different than the Broncos did, where the Broncos, when they lost in the past number of years, he said they would practice harder. They would spend extra time on film and dissecting what was wrong. He said the Rams, when they lose, it's business as normal. They treat the way they lose the same way that they win, where they critique, They stay even keeled. They move on, and you see that throughout this Rams culture and this organization, which I love. I love that that it's a team that's able to move on from a loss, and even when the Rams were in a 3-game losing skid. And there was a lot of people that were saying, wow, why did we trade for Stafford? The sky is falling, right? Because we live in that, reactionary society.
Yeah.
It's been cool to see that, we put these 5 wins together, and, Stafford against the Ravens in that second half of that game, though he started off the game terrible, he actually finished 14 for 14 in the second half. And he helped lead us down the field to get the go ahead touchdown. So it's pretty. I don't know. It's one of those things that you have to accept the consequences, good or bad, of Stafford's actions, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride throughout the playoffs with Stafford as well.
Hey, absolutely. And like I said before, Matt Stafford, he's having an excellent year. I think McVay definitely sought after the quarterback he thought would fit best his system, and hey, Stafford's doing an excellent job. He does have a few pick sixes, but the Rams have been able to overcome it.
Okay, but Jay, here's the thing that's frustrating: that most of Stafford's interceptions are either a pick six deep in our own zone that was a stupid throw that you're why didn't you just throw it away? What are you doing? Right. Or it's a super long bomb down the field to Odell Beckham where it was a miscommunication or something, and then it's an arm punt essentially.
Yeah.
So those don't hurt you as bad as a pick six, but they're still really annoying. And so it's just sort of and it's normally when Stafford's in the gun. So that's why in my live streams with the watch party, whenever Stafford's under center, I'm Matt Stafford under center. That's where we like him. Yeah. Because whenever he's in the gun and it's an empty backfield, I get nervous. I need to have a defibrillator near me because he might make a mistake.
Hey, man, we feel the same way. Definitely a lot of 49er fans feel the same way about Jimmy G when he takes the snap and Jimmy is looking to the right.
Yeah.
To the left. We definitely get nervous. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh
no. Don't throw it to the other team, Jimmy. But we got some 49er fans in the building. We got Jesus. What's good? Jesus says, saludos. Thanks for tuning into the stream. We also got David McNew. He says, what's good? What's up, Payo Time? And if you guys are enjoying the stream, if you're ready for some 49ers Rams NFC West football, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let me know you guys are enjoying the stream. Also, share it out to people you think would enjoy it. 49ers fans, Rams fans, and check out Payo Time. All his social media info is in the link of the description. Make sure you check him out. Jesus also says, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, just win. Niners have an excellent team. And speaking of our excellent team, obviously there is uncertainty at the quarterback position, but and I know that the Niners will try to run the ball.
Yep.
Elijah Mitchell's having an excellent rookie year. He actually just set the rookie season record for rushing yards, and he's been in and out of the lineup. So he's having a great year. There's also Jeff Wilson Jr., Jermichael Hasty, and you might have heard of this guy, Deebo Samuel. He's a jack of all trades. Well, if you haven't heard of him, you'll see number 19 making plays.
I have him on 2 of my fantasy teams. Yeah, so Deebo's been doing good for me this year.
Dual threat, can do it all on the field. Very, very intrigued to see how he plays against the LA Rams, because I think he is, a mismatch nightmare when he's on the field. We also have Brehan in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream. He says, I hope we win. Absolutely, man. Feelings are mutual. We got Trey Lance fan from NDSU says, so glad you two recommended for me. Do you know if Trey Lance is starting? Hey, inquiring minds want to know.
Mystery.
But we won't know until Saturday, man. But I appreciate you joining the stream, and feel free to subscribe to the Jay intheBay YouTube channel for all your 49ers news and sports talk, man. Appreciate you for coming in. We got some Rams fans in the building. We got Rams Insider. Good. He says, hey, my man Payo, what's good, man?
Oh, man, that guy's great.
I do not, Trey Lance. No, I do not. I'm just a fan who's crazy enough to talk with other fans about our teams on the internet, man.
They should hire you. They really should.
That would, hey, I'll take it, man. That'd be excellent.
Yeah.
We got Damian Lee in the building. What's
up, Damian?
good? Damian Lee says, I want our rivals, the Cowboys, in the first round, Niners and Cowboys again in the playoffs. Obviously, we have a lot of history between those two teams. And yeah, I'll take it. I just want to get into the playoffs, and whatever happens after that. Yeah. We got to talk about this scuffle that happened on national TV where one Rams player just totally disrespects another player on the field. You got to tell me that the chemistry is off on this team. The Rams are definitely not going to win this game due to Taylor Rapp's beef with Jalen Ramsey. Is this true?
No. Okay, this is literally the most non-story that the media is milking to no end because it's Jalen Ramsey. This sort of thing happens in literally every game. It like there was a little bit of a hit or whatever, but like a kind of a scuffle, but it wasn't anything escalated beyond that. Even Jalen Ramsey in his press conference today, he smoothed out. He said he's like, Taylor Rapp is my boy. Like, they're all good. It was just them communicating on the field, wanting to get the right call and the right coverage in place. They're two highly competitive guys. And I truly believe it's just because it happened and Jalen Ramsey was involved, and the media loves to blow whatever Jalen does out of proportion. I don't think it's as much of a story as what people think.
Over here, it's a huge story. Yeah. This incident will definitely have implications on this game.
Oh man!
But it's interesting because he did put his like he just like pushed him away like he was a little kid. Like that's that
it was disrespectful, and the camera caught it, and like it looks bad. It
definitely it looks worse than it probably actually is, but it definitely looked bad. Like so had to bring that up, but.
No, literally, I get tons of comments about it on my channel this week.
Gotta say, hot diggity dog, 49ers Ultimate Report. I appreciate the $2 super stickers. I appreciate those super stickers, man. Hopefully all is well in your hood. I know you're excited for this game against the LA Rams. We also have another Rams fan in the building.
Yes.
Who goes by the name of Rams House. He says, what's going on, man? All is good. Glad you could be a part of the stream, man. I appreciate you coming through. Hopefully all is well for you. Rams Insider says, I just finished my podcast episode with John Jay, and we came up with that Shanahan probably keeps a different playbook specifically for us. Interesting. We lose. Sean doesn't have excuses anymore. What do you think about that?
The reality is he's got to beat Kyle Shanahan. He's for everything Sean McVay has done, and don't get me wrong, I am so glad Sean McVay is our coach. He is. I want him to be our coach for the next 20, 30 years. However, it is definitely a bit of a chip on his shoulder that he needs to deal with. Like when you play a team 5 times and lose to them 5 times in now 3 years, and it's embarrassing, and especially when you're considered one of the best coaches in the NFL. I really want I agree with Rams Insider that Kyle Shanahan seems to have this secret playbook that he sleeps with under his pillow where it's just like the Rams playbook or something. And I'm really hoping that Sean McVay, does Sean McVay things he learns from his past games. I hope he stays even keeled. And what they talk about in the press conference, which it's coach speak of saying, we take it one game at a time, but those guys have had our number. It'd be nice to beat them. They say stuff like that. I'm hoping that Sean McVay is able to go in with a game plan for the Niners that they're not suspecting. I do believe that we will see a healthy dose of Sony Michel. And I would also say that if Trey Lance and Jimmy G is the greatest mystery of the Niners coming into this game, Cam Akers is the greatest mystery for the Rams coming into this game. And I want to celebrate Cam Akers. He got an Achilles injury in the offseason, and I think they predicted they would take 9 to 10 months to recover from. He's done it in like 6. It's amazing, and he's making his season debut this Sunday against the Niners at SoFi. I don't know how involved he's going to be. However, if he is where he was last year, Niners better watch out, because I believe he, in one game against the Niners, he had 8 carries for over 80 yards. So Cam Akers can be a difference maker. I'm really curious to see him. We really don't know where he is in terms of playing speed, but I'm excited, and I will be cheering on Cam, on Sunday for sure.
That's an incredible recovery time. I mean, usually Achilles injuries, that's usually easily a year, and you're really not back to who you are. Sometimes it could even take 2 years. But yeah, I mean, that's incredible, especially for Cam Akers at the running back position. He's got to make cuts. He's got to cut on a dime. He's got to use his speed, his quickness, his shiftiness. So honestly, though, I don't think he'll be much of a factor in this game. Yeah. I'm sure you're hoping he'll prove me wrong and 49er fans wrong. But man, that's an incredible story to come back so fast. Because I didn't think he would be back this year, because he got injured in August, right?
Yeah, it was early August. Yeah, and I don't think, like, especially because Sony has been running the ball so well. I don't see Cam Akers come in and taking 15 carries away. But I do think seeing 2 to 8 carries somewhere in there, maybe give him some goal line work or red zone work. I'm not sure, but I'm just excited to see him out there, regardless of how little or how much he contributes to this offense. It's exciting to see him back. And Jay, I think we got a couple of people we got to shout out here, because
absolutely,
we have some really cool people in this chat.
Absolutely. And first is a Minnesota Vikings fan, goes by a hip lady, also aka Jade. Gotta say, what's good? We both done collabs.
Yeah,
Jade, excellent YouTuber, Vikings fan. Jade says, "Hey Jay, hey Payo, you guys are the best. Good luck to both of your teams this week and onward." Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jade.
Let's see. Rams House, he says he's putting his money on that Trey Lance will start. Okay. David echoes your sentiments, man. He agrees as well. We have a Arizona Cardinals fan in the house.
Joseph.
Good. Goes by the name of Cardinal Rule. We've done collabs with him as well. The Cardinal Rule says, "What's good?" Jay and Payo, 2 of my favorite non-Cardinals YouTubers. I appreciate that, man.
Love that guy.
Hey, the Cardinals and Niners, we could meet in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for tuning into the stream, man. Hopefully all is well for you on a Thursday night. Damian Lee says, "I want Trey to start, but hardhead Kyle will start Jimmy." It's some would say it's a tough decision. Some would say it's easy. It's Trey, but it is tough. Jimmy has won some games for us this year. He did play well. He is more experienced. This is a tough spot to put a rookie quarterback in. But obviously, I want to see Trey out there, but I've been hearing some rumblings that there may be a 2-quarterback system this Sunday against the LA Rams. If Jimmy continues to throw this week, I would have a feeling that Jimmy will start, but we'll see how he can throw the ball. It's easy to throw the ball in practice, but we'll see what happens when you got Leonard Floyd, you got Aaron Donald, you got Von Miller coming at you on that defensive front. So it's a little bit different story. So
and like a thumb injury, right? I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but like when you look at like the hand and all the bones and cartilage and muscles that go into your hand, especially your thumb, like that truly makes it sort of a game time thing, right? Where it could feel good on Saturday, but then something happens, he tweaks it, in warm-ups, and he's not good to go, right?
Yeah, because I'm sure they'll shoot it up, they'll make it feel good about an hour before the game. But once it gets to halftime in the third quarter, it's going to be pretty painful. And not to mention that, hey, if he gets sacked, there's going to be pressure on that thumb. That thumb's going to get hit. I definitely would not want to be in Jimmy G's situation right now. That's for sure, with that banged up thumb. But I got to give credit to Jimmy. He's trying to play. At least that's what it seems like. He wants to play. I'm never going to question an NFL player's toughness, because that's a job that 99% of people won't do and can't do. So never going to question his toughness. But we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see. It's encouraging for the Jimmy G fans that Jimmy has been practicing, or I should say he's been throwing. He hasn't really been practicing with the first team yet. So Trey Lance is still getting those reps, but I wouldn't be shocked if there is a 2-quarterback system, or if Trey Lance gets to start. But you never know with Kyle Shanahan. You never know.
Absolutely.
We also have Brett in the building. What's good?
Brett?
Thanks for tuning in, man. And Roberto, what's good? We just talked about Cam Akers. I don't think he'll be a difference maker, and I didn't get that impression from Payo Time, but he could contribute.
It would be a shock, but essentially, I don't think the Rams are normally a pretty health conscious team, so I truly don't believe that they would put him out there if he wasn't healthy, and they believed he could contribute. But I don't see, with the way Sony's been playing, I don't see him. I would be shocked if it was more than 5 carries.
Yeah. No, hey, I totally understand that, especially coming off of an Achilles injury. So obviously, the 49ers have some great playmakers. We got the eyes. We got Deebo Samuel, tuck your chain. You got the best tight end in the NFL when we give him the ball, George Kittle.
I'm scared, man.
But the Rams have some playmakers as well. And one of the ones that stand out the most is this guy named Cooper Kupp.
Yes, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is having an incredible season. I believe he's having, I think he can break the receiving yards record or catches. I think he's in line. Like, there's a possibility he can do those two.
Jay, if you don't mind me interjecting here,
not at all.
I would love to go on a bit of a Cooper Kupp rant here. So Cooper Kupp needs 12 catches in this game to break Michael Thomas's reception record single season. And he needs 136 yards to break Calvin Johnson's receiving record in this game. He currently leads all receivers by 21 receptions in this season, 320 yards this season, by 2 receiving touchdowns this season. He leads the next closest receiver in 20-plus yards reception by 4. He's tied for first with 8 40-yard receptions. And in terms of receiving yards per game, he leads the league by 15. In yards after catch, he leads the league by 94 yards. And in receiving first downs, he leads the league by 4 to the next closest guy. Cooper Kupp is having one of the greatest seasons by an NFL wide receiver ever.
He is. I mean, look at the man has 138 catches, 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I would say he had it wasn't a lackluster performance against the Niners the first game, but it was, I would say it was garbage time. It was garbage stats. Yeah. He didn't really make his imprint on the game. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what he's done against the Niners the previous games prior to this season, but it just seems like the Niners do a good job in bottling up Cooper Kupp. And I know our secondary is banged up. We're definitely going to talk about that real soon on the injury reports. But we definitely have to slow down Cooper Kupp, because he is definitely Matt Stafford's favorite target. And OBJ, he's good. You guys got Van Jefferson. He's like your deep threat. You got a good tight end, which I'm concerned about. But Cooper Kupp is the man that keeps D'Amico Ryan's up at night trying to game
Yeah.
plan against that for sure. So, yeah, congrats to Cooper Kupp. I'm sure he's going to be a Pro Bowl, All Pro. He's having an incredible year, so we'll see if he can continue that against the Niners on Sunday.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for Cooper Kupp because even when he's been asked about the records for like the past number of weeks, every press conference he's always asked about the records. He is so humble in demeanor, and like he's quick to deflect the conversation of reporters to honor, Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, Michael Thomas, like all the receivers that came before him. You can tell Cooper Kupp, he's a fan of wide receivers, and he's very much a historian of the position. And he's a guy that, even if you're not a Rams fan, it's tough to not cheer for him because he's such a great guy.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt he's having an incredible year. And it sucks that he's in the same division. But he's an exciting guy to watch, and I'm looking forward to see how D'Amico Ryans can attempt to slow him down. Obviously, our best bet, I think, is our pass rush. And we'll see what happens on Saturday. We have a lot of injuries, basically the only healthy player, or I should say healthy cornerback on our team is Josh Norman. Everyone else basically has COVID, or we do have 3 guys on the practice squad, but they're just Jags. They're just a guy. Yep. So, hopefully we get our starters back, by game time. Gotta say what's good to Cook and Smokes Sports. Thanks for tuning into the stream. I believe he is a up and coming YouTuber talking about the Niners. So hey man, thanks for tuning into the stream, man, and keep grinding. We have Edward Brito in the house. What's Edward? Good? Hey Payo and Jay, here's to an epic game in LA. I mean, what more could you ask for? Division game. Niners win, they're into the playoffs, and also the Rams are looking to try to get that number 2 seed in the NFC playoff race. So let's see. We also got Joseph Mahoney in the building. What's good? Joseph says, I hope Jimmy ain't playing. Jimmy looks to the left. He looks to the right. Picked off over the middle. Hey, I appreciate you for coming in, Joseph. That's pretty funny. But yeah, man, if Jimmy plays, at least he's got the experience. You just got to hope he doesn't turn the ball over, because in this game, we can't afford to lose the turnover battle because the Rams are just that good. So definitely cannot have turnovers. We got Coach Dante in the building.
Yes, Coach Dante.
Good old Spotlight Sports Network. Shout out to you guys. Got to say what's good. Coach Dante says, what's up, my guys? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. I agree with you, Cook and Smokes. Either Josh Norman, either he's punching out a football and creating a turnover, or he's getting beat and he's getting a defensive pass interference penalty. So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about these injuries, and we'll start off with the LA Rams injury report. Now, this is recent. This is within the last, I would say, 2 hours. And let me blow this up so you can see it. For the players that are currently on your injury report, are there any concerns of these players here that will not play on Sunday?
No, the Rams in recent weeks, we've been getting healthier, which is really, really awesome. I believe, and I read the injury report just about an hour before this broadcast. Nick Scott is probably the only one we're maybe a little concerned about, but a lot of Rams fans will even say that Nick Scott is one of our more questionable secondary players. Yeah, it's I think we're looking pretty healthy. You will notice on Sunday we have a player named Greg Gaines on our defense. He's a linebacker. He'll have a bandage on his hand, and like he's playing with the fist.
Okay.
He got a metal plate with 8 screws last week on his hand, and so he played with it against the Ravens. But yeah, I didn't know that he had actually, until today, I didn't know he got a metal plate in his hand. But he's playing with that. So we'll continue to, watch him throughout the game. But yeah, a lot of those guys, as you can see, they're just getting rest with them. But you love seeing that Cam Akers had a full practice on Wednesday and a full practice on Thursday today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it looks like all those players should be available, barring, COVID. Obviously, hopefully no other players, get COVID. But going to the 49ers injury report, and man, it is full of players, unfortunately.
Laundry list.
Um, Start off from the top. Aziz linebacker, he's not expected to play. He will be out this week due to a knee injury. Nick Bosa and Alex Mack, they're just getting the veteran rest, but they should be a full go. It's unfortunate. Elijah Mitchell, he had a pretty good game last week against the Texans. He is our best running back, and he definitely levels up this offense when he's in. But unfortunately, he was limited today in practice. So we'll see what happens on Friday. I would anticipate it'll be another limited practice for Elijah Mitchell. And his game status will be questionable. I think that's what it's been for the bulk of the year. He is a rookie, but he does get banged up. It's very unfortunate to see, but he's got a bright future. He just got to be able to stay healthy. Now, Trent Williams, the big silverback, unfortunately, he's dealing with a elbow. I wouldn't even necessarily say injury. It could be better classified as soreness, but he did not practice. So I would be shocked if he doesn't play. I mean, does Trent Williams really need to practice? Like, I mean,
that's fine.
So obviously, if he doesn't play, that's a huge blow to this offensive line because he is by far the best offensive lineman on this team. So if he doesn't go, hey, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, they'll be licking their chops, that's for sure.
Those guys have been balling out recently.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll definitely need the big silverback in there protecting either Jimmy or Trey Lance's blind side. Jimmy G, he's throwing the football, but that's basically it. This is an improvement throw from last week because last week he did not throw a ball at all. So we'll see what happens basically Saturday. I think we'll know then. Dre Greenlaw, I'm not expecting him to be back, another linebacker. And as you see, we actually have 3 linebackers on this injury chart, which is concerning. Obviously, Fred Warner, the best linebacker on the team, he's healthy, but we will probably have to use some of our depth, and that includes Flanagan Fowles. And part of our depth is Marcel Harris. And honestly, I didn't even know he was on the injury report until looking now, and he says he's limited with an Achilles. So that's also concerning as well. So obviously, looking at this list, the 49ers have a lot more players on the injury list. There's a lot more concern of our players than the Rams. As far as Dre Greenlaw, I'll be surprised if he plays. He's only played like 2 games this year, and it's been the same injury. Talanoa Hufanga, he's also missed the last month, so I would be surprised if he plays. Jaquiski Tart, he's basically been on the injury report off and on the entire year, but he still manages to play, so he will play through pain. So that's definitely not an issue. Maurice Hurst, the same thing with Dre Greenlaw, very limited this year. And I don't expect Maurice Hurst to play. But it is good that he's limited because let's be real, he hasn't played a majority of the games this year. So we got a lot of a lot of
going on there.
Yeah. This is a 10-minute segment just on the Niners injuries, and this doesn't even include the players we have on due to COVID.
Right.
Basically, the only healthy corner is Josh Norman. We have 3 corners on practice squad.
Is Ward on the COVID list still?
Who? Ward? Yes, Jimmy Ward.
Jimmy
Yes,
Ward?
he's still on the COVID list. So I believe we just had 1 player or 2 players who got on COVID yesterday, Demo Lenore and Ambry Thomas, 2 rookies. So since they got on the COVID list so late, they don't have as good as chance to make it to game day and play than Jimmy Ward, because I think he was on the COVID list, I think on Monday.
Okay, so he's got the 5 days. Okay.
Exactly. So, and all you need is 2 negative tests. But we just got to hope. I mean, it sucks because we've been doing pretty good this year as far as the health and safety protocols. Obviously, California has, much, stricter, guidelines and things like that. But it sucks that we get this outbreak, at the last game of the season, and this is a must win. So,
it's I honestly, the whole vid thing is so annoying because like the Rams actually, like last year, we didn't get too much of an outbreak from it, and this year we didn't either until that one game where against the Seahawks, and they got delayed till the Tuesday because of it. But thankfully, we've been able to get past that. But yeah, like it's not fun because your team can't practice the way they should to prepare, which can lead to further injury and your team not necessarily playing as well. And it's also just frustrating because you don't know who's going to be in the game, and it sucks because you want your best players on the field, and as football fans, we want the best players out there, right? We don't want to see like the people that we pick up off the street going on the field, right?
No, absolutely. And it's also hard, you want to see the best talent out there. And it's also hard to kind of pick the winner when I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't know if our best running back is going to be in. So you just kind of got to hope that, those players will be available until we know otherwise. So, but those are the injury reports for both respective teams. Obviously, the 49ers are in much worse shape. But hopefully some of those injuries will clear up and some of those players can get off of, COVID prior to game day. We have Kelts Chronicles. What's good? Thanks for tuning in. Kelts, up and coming 49er YouTuber. He says it never seems to go well in any sport when you have a lot of big names. And I think he might be referring to the LA Rams. And I remember we talked about this early in the season that the Rams were kind of top heavy team. But as the season has progressed, what do you think outside of the big names on the teams? Like you could give me one guy who you think has stood out on either side of the ball that's not a big name?
Yeah, well, I would say A'Shawn Robinson and Greg Gaines have done really well for the Rams on defense, not big names. And then Sony Michel, who's as a running back, played really well. And I guess he was maybe I wouldn't say a big name, but he was a name people knew because he's a former Patriot. But I really am convinced more than ever that this is a team with depth to it. They were built right. Jordan Fuller has played really well, especially in this latter half of the season, in place of John Johnson, who we lost last year in free agency at the safety position. And yeah, I do want to say something about the Odell Beckham Jr. signing that I think a lot of people make the mistake. The Rams didn't sign Odell just for the sake of signing Odell Beckham Jr. We had just lost Tutu Atwell for the season, and Deshaun Jackson, he had his whole thing where he walked away. So the Rams were actually in need of a wide receiver, and we tried to sign former Rams Josh Reynolds off of waivers because he got released by the Titans before the trade deadline. But the Lions, who had a higher waiver priority, took Josh Reynolds. So the Rams were in a position where we really needed a receiver, and Odell was definitely the best option available. So because he got released by the Browns, and so the signing is flashy because it's a big name, but when you look at it, the Rams were just a team looking for a receiver, and Odell was the best option. And thankfully we did, because the day Odell signed, Robert Woods tore his ACL in practice. And that was a frustrating, and I know Rams fans feel gypped. We would have loved to seen this offense with Odell, Woods, and Cup, and Van Jefferson, and Tyler Higbee in it. But unfortunately, we won't get to see that this season. But Odell's come in. He's played well. He's had some really clutch catches. He definitely still has some of the best hands in the NFL. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him play on Sunday.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him play. I believe he got his first start with the Rams against the Niners, I believe, right?
Yeah, on that Monday night game. Yeah,
Monday night. You guys had just picked him up, so
yeah, that was the first arm punt.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see him and how he's progressed with this offense on Sunday. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Davis Abraham, I gotta say, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the
Hello,
stream,
David.
man. Looks like you are representing Ohana. Appreciate you for tuning into the stream, man. Celts Chronicles, very kind words, man. I appreciate you for coming through tonight. He says, Jay, bringing the unity, Rams, Texans, North Dakota, Minnesota, Arizona, Jesus, I'm sure more. Great job, Jay. Real talk. It's impressive and inspiring. Appreciate the kind words, man. I appreciate that. Davis Abraham is referencing the Aaron Donald when he said when he was, I think someone said, "Oh, what do you think about Debo?" He's like, "Who's Debo?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is." So
yeah, oh, that was funny this week.
that
Yeah.
was. No, that was, man.
Like,
I was gonna say,
sorry.
what do you think about this comment? Cam Akers should take it easy. No sense in rushing back too fast. What do you think about that? I mean, Achilles injury. That's
So I follow Cam Akers on like every social media platform, and even through his recovery, he's post some pretty impressive like foot workouts, and he's running through the the gauntlets and stuff like that, and so like you can tell like he has full motion for sure. I really don't think that the Rams would have activated him if he wasn't able to play well. I definitely agree, though. Like, I think a lot of Rams fans are like, because we care, right? We care about him, right? We don't want him to. We'd rather he be fully healthy, and we just hope that the Rams aren't pushing him back because the reality is Darrell Henderson, he is injured and probably out for the year. So we have a couple of other running back options, but they're putting Cam Akers in there. So I don't know how much of a concern this actually is, but I know there are some within the Rams fan community that feel that maybe they're bringing Akers back too soon. I think David just doesn't want to see a good player come back for the Rams.
Yeah, that could be. But yeah, you'd hate to see him re-injure something else. But you just never hear of an athlete returning from Achilles that soon. So it's remarkable that he's able to do that. And hey, I wish him and all the Rams players health through this game on Sunday, and may the best team win. Joseph Mahoney, actually, I gotta say, Fable, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream.
Fable.
We got Libby's World in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in. Joseph says, sorry, Payo Time, Cooper Cup ain't getting either of those records. Sorry, but that'll be interesting to see. With our, issues in the secondary, we shall see. Celts Chronicles says it's Daniel Brunskill's time of the year.
Oh, most annoying O-lineman in the NFL.
He just rises to the occasion. Whenever Brunskill sees 99,
I feel like every night of that guy's life, he just watches Aaron Donald's tape, and he might not do well against any other team, but for whatever reason, it's the Rams.
And Brunskill, he's solid. Like he'll have some games where he plays pretty well, and then other times he's getting pushed around like a sled on a high school football field. But hey, he brings his lunch pail when he faces number 99, and hey, that's when you got to play your best. That's for sure.
I will say that this time though, we got Von Miller, who seems to be really fitting well into this Rams defense the past 3 games.
He had 2 sacks last week, right?
He did, yeah.
Well, we got to talk about who do you think will be the X factors this Sunday versus the Niners. Who is your LA Rams offensive X factor? Let's get into it.
Yeah, my X factor for the Rams on offense this game. We talked about him already. I do believe that Van Jefferson will need to step up this game. And I don't know if he'll necessarily lead, the Rams in receiving or catches or anything like that. I do think that there's going to be – I think this game is going to be close. I really do. And I think if there's going to be a big play that someone needs to step up and make a play on offense for the Rams, make that catch that, just changes the tide and the momentum, I think it's going to be Van Jefferson.
Hey, and it'll be interesting to see, how this secondary performs because we really don't know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
I think our best bet is the pass rush. The pass rush is going to have to be play their best game and make Stafford feel uncomfortable. But offensive X factor for the 49ers, it's got to be tuck your chain, Deebo Samuel.
Yep.
With Elijah Mitchell being limited in practice, that definitely worries me. So I think Deebo Samuel, we can see Deebo Samuel get about 8 to 10 carries in this game, maybe add on 3 to 5 catches. And he's a jack of all trades type player. He can do it all on the field. And I look forward to seeing him inflict punishment on the good old LA Rams defenders, because he doesn't go down on the first tackle. That's for sure. He's kind of like Kittle. They're looking for contact. So that's what I think the Niners X factor will be. I think it'll be Deebo Samuel. On the other side of the ball, who you got? Defensive X factor.
There's so many people in here, but at the same time, I think similar, like the pass rush will just be so important in this game. And I'm going to say the X factor in this is going to be Leonard Floyd. He's been playing well, and I could list off lots of players on the Rams team, but I feel like with all the big names that go there, sometimes Leonard Floyd is the one that does get forgotten, even though he's been playing so well this year. I think just for stopping the run on the Niners, and I hope we make, if it's Jimmy G or Trey Lance, whoever's playing quarterback for the Niners, I want the Niners quarterback to have to be the one to win this game for the Niners. I don't want another one of these 44 rushes where the Niners just hog the ball and run it down our throats. That's definitely my my hope for this game.
Hey, absolutely. And games are won and lost in the trenches.
Yeah.
The 49ers offensive line is healthy, except for the big silverback Trent Williams, but I'm hoping he will be able to play. But as far as my defensive X factor, I could say Bosa, and I think the Rams will probably try to double team him. Hell, I've even seen teams try to triple team. Nick Bosa, but that opens up opportunities, one-on-one opportunities for Eric Armstead, for DJ Jones, for Arden Key, for Samson, for Jordan Willis. He got a sack last week. So the Niners have a deep defensive line. Obviously, we're going to need them to do very well against the run, and also get pressure on Stafford. But I'm going to say Fred Warner. He had an excellent week last week. 15 tackles. He was all over the field. I'm sure he'll help in stuffing the run. He'll help in guarding you guys his best tight end, and it's not Higbee, right?
Tyler, Big Higbee, yeah.
Higbee, all right. So
Big Hig, yeah.
I'm sure Fred Warner will be matched up on him at times, and also Jimmy Ward will be matched up on him as well. But I'm going to go with the captain of the defense, and that's Fred Warner. I think he will be the Rams, he will be the Niners defensive X factor.
I like it.
Let's see. I just want to get these comments. Fable says having an extra game in the season is going to lead to many more records being broken. I think I want to say Cooper Kupp mentioned that. He said that there should be an asterisk, right? I think he said that.
Yeah, and again, like Cooper Kupp, he's quick to deflect and honor those that came before him. But I think the reality is when we went to a 16 game season back in the day before you and I were alive, there were 14 games before that or 12 games before that, right? And that's just sort of the way that it works. And now that we're at a 17th game, because odds are in the future they're going to go to an 18 game, right?
Yeah.
And I think you could put asterisks all you want. I'm still going to celebrate this season of Cooper Kupp as one of the best receivers in Rams history and NFL history. And so I don't put an asterisk on it that way, but absolutely, Fable's totally right that, with these records being broken in 17 games as opposed to 16 games. And you'll see announcers do that of like, oh, this record was set here, but the person who's second, he had to do that in 16 games, right? They'll reference it that way.
Yeah, no, great point, Fable, but I agree. Like 10 years later, we're not going to remember, oh, well, Cooper Kupp had an extra game. That's why he broke the record, or the person before him, he only had to play in 16 games. So I just don't think we'll really remember that. But hey, not to take away from Cooper Kupp, he's having an excellent season. And we'll see if that continues on Sunday against the Niners. the Cardinal rule says I'm pulling for the Niners in this game. If
Yeah,
they
of
win
course
and
he
my Cards
is.
win, we take the division.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Cardinal rule.
Appreciate the kind words, Cook and Smoke Sports. Thanks, bro, for keeping it solid. Great content. Hey, same to you, and appreciate you for being here tonight. Let's see. So now it is the moment we've all been waiting for. We talked about injuries. We talked about X factors. We talked about both defenses. The Rams are currently on a 5-game winning streak, so you know they're hitting on all cylinders, but they have yet to play. You know, a 49ers defense that's been rolling. Kyle Shanahan, I think he does have an advantage over McVay and over the defensive coordinator as well. But I got to ask, who wins on Sunday and why? Payo Time. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I actually think this is going to be a relatively mistake-free game. And I think it'll come down to maybe that one mistake, that one play that changes the game ever so slightly, right? Maybe it's in the first half, maybe it's in the second. It'll just be that one little mistake. I do think that the Niners are going to lose this game to the Rams. I think we're going to break this streak. I'm a biased, optimistic Rams fan, so Niners faithful, please, show me grace. But I believe that the Rams will win this game in kind of that, I want to say like 16-13 battle.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting you to predict a low scoring game. But yeah, turnovers, penalties, third down effectiveness will be huge in this game. Matt Stafford has proven that he will throw the ball to the other team. I think your offensive efficiency on third down has been pretty good. And I think the Rams defense was doing pretty good, especially over the last 3 games, and forcing teams into punting situations. And that's going to be a huge key for the 49ers. The defense has been, I would say last week was kind of hit or miss with our third down efficiency. The offense has kind of been average all year. So third down efficiency will be key. Can't beat ourselves with penalties. And of course, turnovers. I think our record is, I think we're undefeated, or we might have lost one game when Jimmy did not throw an interception. But when he threw an interception, we were like 1-6. So clearly that tells you we can't win, we can't overcome when those turnovers occur, especially early on in the game.
And it won't same Matt Stafford, any game he hasn't thrown an interception or had a turnover, the Rams have won. And recently we've won 3 games where he has had a turnover and we won. So we'll see.
But other than that, if all that is equal, I think I like the Shanahan over McVay matchup. That is one of the constants in this, 5-game winning streak that the Niners have over the Rams. Jimmy played 4 out of 5 of those games. And the Niners, what I've noticed is they've just been able to win the time of possession. So that means we are executing on third down. We are able to run the ball. And we've had over 100 rushing yards in each of the last 5 games. So I don't see why that shouldn't continue. It just seems like Shanahan, he's just always a step ahead of McVay. And I think that continues. I think McVay is Shanahan's little brother. I think that's kind of what it is. Wow. He has that edge over him. And I like my chances with Shanahan over Raheem Morris.
Yeah. Okay.
Rams defensive coordinator. Okay.
So remember his name this time. Yeah.
I remember his name. Yeah. I don't know why I kept forgetting the brother's name, but
no worries, man. No worries.
But he's got that defense playing pretty well, but they haven't met, or they haven't, played a guy like Shanahan, who's a great play designer, great play caller, always schemes guys open. And I think it will be a tough test for this Rams defense. And there's no question the Rams offense will, test this 49ers defense. There's no mistake about it. I think Matt Stafford will make some plays in the air. He will be able to hit OBJ. He'll hit Cooper Kupp. But I think the 49ers will be able to outlast the Rams in SoFi Stadium. City of Angels, one of the most expensive stadiums ever built. I got the Niners winning, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see because I will go on Payo's YouTube channel on Sunday at halftime.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. You think it's going to be low-scoring, so that'll be interesting to see what happens, and also if Cooper Kupp can get his goal. But I got the Niners winning this, a close one, 30-27. I think Bobby Gold will kick a game-winning field goal, and that'll propel us into the playoffs. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Interesting. We both think it's going to be a tight game, and as a football fan, I'm hoping for a good game. As a Rams fan, I'm hoping the Rams win. Obviously,
yeah, absolutely. Hey, and I would expect nothing less. I don't think it'll be a blowout in either way. I don't think, because I know we did beat you guys last time, 31-10. But I think it's going to be much closer in this game. I think so. I think Matt Stafford is.
Okay. Hopefully, we don't gift you 14 points in the first quarter.
that helped, right? That definitely helped. In the last game, that's for sure. But I could see, honestly, whichever quarterback plays, I could see both quarterbacks throwing an interception. But I think it's going to come down to third down efficiency, who protects their quarterback the best. Mm-hmm. And because there's definitely some holes on our offensive line, and I think there might be some advantages that the Niners D-line has over the Rams. So I think Nick Bosa, he hasn't had a sack in 2 straight games, and I have a funny feeling I think that'll change.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'll change. So that's my prediction, man. I gotta ask you, who is on your Rams Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I get asked this sort of question, if you would ask me this question like an hour from now, I could possibly change it. But I right now I want to put Torrey Holt on there because I saw an interview with him earlier today on the Rams YouTube channel, which was cool. I'll put Isaac Bruce on there. Also, he finished his career with the Niners, which was hard to see, but it happened. But loved Isaac Bruce, as a Ram. I'll put Kurt Warner on there. He's our only quarterback that delivered a Super Bowl win for us. I haven't gotten to see his movie yet because theaters in Canada got shut down with the vid. But I hope to see his movie. I hear it's quite good. I'll put Steven Jackson on there because for years when the Rams were terrible, he was the only thing worth like watching the Rams for. Yeah. So I love to give respect to SJ39. And also, right now, let me throw back to Eric Dickerson, a phenomenal running back that was before our time. But if you look up his highlights, you have to watch all of them. Like he's a phenomenal running back. He helped kind of, pave the way for that elusive mold of a running back. He was a lot of fun to watch.
And that's a great list. The Rams have a lot of great players in their history. And I can remember like Steven Jackson, he doesn't get talked about a lot, but he had, I want to say, anywhere between 7 to 10 1,000-yard seasons. And of course, as a Niner fan, we had some lean years, in the 2000s, and obviously before Harbaugh got there. But Steven Jackson, he was the man. After Marshall Faulk retired, Steven Jackson, he was one of the best running backs in the NFL. But he doesn't get much love. Not sure why, but he was definitely a great running back.
He was always on losing teams. And like he was always because in those years in his career, we had tons of coaching turnover. I think he learned like probably 7 new offenses throughout his career. Which it's tough to stay consistent, but he was a fun player to watch. You don't see many backs like him in the NFL anymore where he's a real bruiser, right? Like I guess Derrick Henry kind of nowadays. But Steven Jackson, he was a lot of fun to watch.
No, absolutely. And man, it's been a blast having you on Payo Time. How much more time you got?
all the time that you want, man.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we can go through the comments a little bit.
absolutely, Jay.
See what
Absolutely.
the Rams and Niner fans are saying in the comments. So Celts Chronicles says the Super Bowl is up for grabs this year. There's no true dominant team.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Payo?
Yeah, no, I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. There is a lot of parity in the NFL this year. There's been a lot of competitive games. There's been a lot of upsets, right?
Yeah.
And there really isn't, like, I don't know, like, you could maybe argue the Packers, but even the Packers are a team with flaws, right? Like, you see it that you can run on them, and they haven't had a real test in the fourth quarter in this kind of latter part of the season. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm really excited for the playoffs as a football fan. And yeah, I think it could shape up to be one of the best playoffs we've seen in a long time. A lot of good games.
No, I would agree. There is a lot of parity in the league, and I don't think there's any real dominant team. Like Kelts says, every team I feel like has flaws. Like the Packers, you can run on them. The Buccaneers, they have some inexperienced wide receivers. I know they got TB12, and also their defense hasn't been playing great. The Chiefs, their offense is kind of inconsistent. Do they still have that same firepower? I guess we'll see in the playoffs. The Bills seem like they might be the most complete team, but sometimes they can't really run the ball. And then, in the NFC, am I a believer in the Cardinals? I don't know. Kyler Murray, this will be the first year Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury have been in the playoffs. So that would, hey, they don't really have that experience. The Cowboys, they got weapons all over the field. They seem like, but Dak's been kind of inconsistent. So, we'll see. But yeah, the playoffs are wide open. It'd be interesting to see who the favorite would be going in. If I had to guess, probably the Bucks. If I had to guess, maybe. And maybe the Bills.
Like, the Bucks are banged up, right? And
yeah,
and like you could maybe make a case like the Titans, who are currently the number 1 seed, and they're going to be the number 1 seed, and it sounds like they're getting Derrick Henry, their best player, back.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think that they got to be the number 1 seed without Derrick Henry.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I just saw on social media today that Derrick Henry is practicing with the team and he's ready. I don't know if he'll play in this game, but he'll definitely be ready for the playoffs, barring another injury. So crazy. Yeah. Good for the Titans, though. Fable says, I really hope Lance plays again this week. I want to see how he progresses between 2 games. I'm kind of torn. I want to see Trey back in there, but part of me feels like, well, maybe, Jimmy G, this is a must-win game. This game gets us into the playoffs. Do you really want to rely on a rookie? But I'm not going to lie. It'll be more exciting to see Trey in there. He had a great game, or I should say, besides the interception, he showed great promise in that game last week against the Texans. He showed why he was the number 3 overall pick, why we traded up to get him. And he's got a bright future, that's for sure. So, yeah, I'm excited to see Trey. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Jimmy gets the nod, but maybe Trey will come in, for a handful of plays. We got Niner sickness in the building. Good. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, what's up, faithful? Let's see. Niner sickness says, we can beat the Rams if we have the kicker playing. LOL.
Salty.
That's funny.
Funny.
And I appreciate Niner Sickness and David letting me know of the spammer in the comments. I appreciate that. Pablo Sandoval, what's good? He says the Lambs are going down. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see there.
And speaking of that American Underdog movie, Payo Time has not seen it yet. Did Canada recently shut down the movie theaters again?
So, yeah, like where I live in Canada, we got locked down pretty hard the past week, and I got the vid myself.
Wow!
Literally the day before American Underdog came out, and I was gonna go see it. I couldn't go because I got the vid. So, and then by the time I was better and recovered, theaters had shut down. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to see it right now, but I'm hoping to see it as soon as I can.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, first, how are you feeling now?
Oh, I'm all good, man. Yeah, I have an odd cough here and there, but for me, it was a cold, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm well beyond it.
Hey, that's good to hear you're doing better. But I'm sure you could probably find that movie maybe on some streaming services, maybe.
See, here's what like you can find it on like pirate websites and like illegal and stuff, but like I want to support this movie.
Right.
I'm such a fan of it because for me, this movie it's based on Kurt Warner and the '99 season of the Rams, and like before that, and that's the year I became a Rams fan. So like, if you could imagine like the year that your team, like you became a fan of the Niners, and there was a movie made about that year.
Yeah.
Like how cool, because that's what this movie is for me. And I'm really nervous to see it actually because I'm worried that it's going to be too cheesy, even though I can love the cheese. But like Kurt Warner's story is just such an inspirational story, and it's I've heard Kurt speak at different conferences and stuff, and he's inspired me in my own life as a man and to pursue excellence, even when I'm not necessarily someone that would do this certain thing, right? And so I'm a huge fan of Kurt Warner. I'm really excited to see this movie. If you're a football fan and if you're someone who's looking for a feel-good film, word on the street is it's a good movie to see.
I might have to check that out. But yeah, he does have an incredible story, and he never gave up, and he continued to work toward his dream. So man, definitely inspiring. That's for sure.
Sure.
David says, I think we win by 1 score. We don't need Nick Mullins this time.
David, throwing salt in my face. Oh, the Nick Mullins nightmares. Oh, they're real. I'm gonna like this morning. Oh, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, waking up from a nightmare. I mean, hey, we lost to Colt McCoy this year, so that's another nightmare as well. So
I'll be honest, because it's funny. Nick Mullins, he signed with it. Like the Niners released him, and I was like, good. And then I was worried he was gonna sign with the Seahawks, but then they signed Geno Smith. And I was like, okay, phew, like he's out of the division.
That's funny. Kel's Chronicle says, crazy to think Rice had 23 touchdowns on the strike-shortened 12-game season in '87. One was a rushing touchdown. Yeah, that's incredible.
That is
incredible. Definitely a GOAT. He's definitely has earned that title. We got Andre in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream. I came in late, but I'm watching the whole thing after I rewind this when you guys are done. I appreciate the support. Awesome. Kels Chronicles gives his Mount Rushmore of LA Rams players. He's got Falk, Dickerson, Flip, and Bruce. I'm not sure who Flip is.
He was a wide receiver for the Rams. He was great.
Okay.
Yeah, he old school guy, but great, fantastic. Yeah.
And Cardinal Rule says, I always thought Steven Jackson was a stud. I love those big power backs like that. James kind of reminds me.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, Cardinal Rule. Yeah.
Absolutely. David has a question. He says, if you go clubbing with a player off your team, who would it be?
David knows me too. See, I love random questions like this. There's a lot of fun people with honestly, okay, I'm gonna be kind of, I'm not much of a clubber myself. But I'm gonna pick Big Wit, Andrew Whitworth.
Wow.
Just because he's such a fun guy. It's funny, when you hear stories about him and McVay and Stafford in Cabo last year. He sounds like he'd be a fun guy to be around. And in general, he's someone that I'd love to pick his brain about life.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. When I first heard this question, I was thinking, I would think Kittle, but Kittle's married. Debo just had a child. He's going to be way too tired to go to the club.
Yeah, okay.
I would say maybe Nick Bosa. Maybe Eric Armstead, someone tall, commands attention in the room. Everyone's looking at us. So maybe it'd be one of those guys. Maybe Eric Armstead. Actually, Armstead, he's married as well. So it's got to be a single guy. It's got to be Nick Bosa. He's tall. People will notice him for sure. So he'll definitely get a lot of attention. And I think it'll be Nick Bosa for me.
I'm thinking maybe I should have picked OBJ. He'd be fun at the club. He'd be fun at the club.
Yeah, OBJ would be, yeah, he's definitely an attention getter, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But man, it's been a blast having you
Mhm.
on. We definitely have to do this again. I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to us collabing on during the halftime of the game,
For
and then
sure.
we can see where our predictions. Is it a high scoring game? Is it a
Yeah.
low scoring game? We'll see.
Yeah.
But for those that have never heard of Payo Time and they're interested in your content, let the people know where they can find you and also what to expect from you on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, Jay, you're one of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate you and what you do for this community that is being built on YouTube of NFL content creators. Yeah, you can find me Payo Time if you search me in on YouTube. You'll find my channel. I mainly talk about the Rams. I am branching out more and more into football content because I'm noticing I have a pretty diverse subscriber base. I'm in the off season. I plan on bringing back my NFL weekly trivia show, which is gonna be a lot of fun, where you can compete against myself and other YouTubers to try and test your NFL knowledge, which is a lot of fun. You can find me on Twitter. I post random stuff. I'm pretty active on Instagram here and there. But really, my YouTube channel is where it's at if you want NFL content. Uh, I do have a watch party coming up for this Rams Niners game. Jay, I'm excited. You're going to be my halftime guest on that. So excited to have you there. And then on next Monday, I'm going to do a prediction show. And for anyone watching, I actually have a contest running on my channel. And Jay, I hope you don't mind me plugging my contest.
Not at
I'm
all.
I'm doing the NFL Fantasy Football Playoff Challenge, and so I use NFL.com. If you go over to any of my recent videos, you'll see a link to it, and it's easy to sign up on NFL.com. It's free to play. You don't even have to be a subscriber to my channel, but you have a chance you can win a $50 gift card to Fanatics. So you can buy a shirt like this, or some merch, and it doesn't have to be a Rams. It could be a Niners. It could be your Cardinals or whoever your favorite team is. Fanatics, they make some great merch, and yeah, I'm hoping to get. My goal is to get 100 people in this contest. Vying for this $50 gift card, and every Monday after each round of the playoffs, I'm going to do an update show on who's leading that. And right now, there's only 12 people signed up. So if you come, you have a good shot of winning.
Hey, sounds good. I gotta get back to you on that. I might be interested in that, man. But
Yeah.
hey, man, it's great to see your channel grow. Obviously, we root for different teams, but we're in the same division, and as you love to say, a dysfunctional NFC West family. So
Absolutely.
it's good to see your channel continue to grow. Keep doing big
Likewise.
things. Looking forward to collabing with you at halftime on Sunday. But it's been a blast. Thanks for coming on tonight, man. And you have a great rest of your night, Payo.
Likewise. Thanks, everyone. And make sure to stay awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'll at you later.
Peace out. That's it.
All right, peace out. And that was Payo Time, man. Excellent content creator. And he not only talks about the Rams and the NFL, he talks about other things like trivia, sports trivia, and that's something that's cool. Something I may check out in the off season. But if you guys are interested in checking out Payo Time on social media, check out his social media info. It's in the links of this description of the video. IG, Twitter, YouTube, check them out. Been a blast having Payo Time on. Oh yeah, Kelts, how could I forget? How could I forget Jimmy G? He's got the chin. How could I forget Jimmy G? Go to the club with Jimmy G. That is a great answer. Cook and Smoke Sports says I was born an Niners fan, all my family from the Bay. Hey, absolutely, man. Same here. Same here. Let's see. We got OYG Sakona in the house. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. OYG says the one and only Jay in the Bay. What's good, bro? Super psyched about Sunday, man. It's about to be crazy. I know we win and we're in the playoffs. We'll see who lines up under center. We'll see who will be in our secondary. Man, we shall see. But thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the kind words, Cooking Smokes. Thanks for tuning in. Uh, Niner sickness with the slogan this week that we'll definitely hear. BLA. BLA. Absolutely, Niner sickness. Kelts Chronicles, appreciate the kind words, man. Looking forward to our collab. Me and Kelts Chronicles will have a collab Sunday night. It'll be a post-game show. I think I'm gonna change the time, but it's gonna be 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Me and Kelts Chronicles reacting to the Rams game. So make sure you guys come through at Jay in the Bay and check us out. David says, "Go Niners! Let's make the Rams into lambs." All right, I like that. Rams House says, "You guys are still grinding and going." Yep, yeah, man. This show, when you're having fun, you guys are going back and forth, chopping it up. The time it just flies, man. But thanks for coming back in, Rams House. Edward says, "Great live, Payo and Jay. Appreciate that." Shout out to Payo Time saying thanks to everyone in the chat. Let's see. Appreciate the kind words, Blue True. And Kelch Chronicles representing that 707. I see you. And shout out to, let's see, we had Blue True, 49ers First Takes, 49er Ultimate Report. Appreciate the donations to the channel. Much appreciated. And what you can expect from the intheBay YouTube channel, I will have a prediction video that should be coming out most likely on Saturday. And also, I will have a pregame live stream. That should be Sunday, probably at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll talk about the latest 49ers Ram news, who's in, who's out. And then, of course, join me in Kelch Chronicles Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the post-game show. Looking forward to all that. Let's see. Rams House says, "Who are you most worried about on this Rams team this Sunday?" I would say it's probably Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's been the best player on this Rams team other than Matt Stafford. But you guys have a lot of weapons on your offense, and I think Cooper Kupp, he's definitely could cause some problems for this defense. But also, it could be Van Jefferson, because if he stretches the field, what worries me most is definitely the 49ers secondary. They've been getting a lot of defensive pass interference penalties. We probably lead the league in defensive pass interference penalties. And I think the Rams can definitely cause stress to the secondary. So, our secondary is a big issue, and the Rams can exploit that weakness. That's for sure. But hopefully we can get a good pass rush on Stafford, and hopefully we can make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket, maybe disguise some coverages. I think D'Amico Ryans, our defensive coordinator, does a great job in doing that. So, it's all or nothing on Sunday, and we got to play our best football. That's for sure. And yeah, man, I appreciate you tuning in, Rams House, and appreciate everyone tuning in to the stream. Everyone have a great Thursday night. It is a payday Friday tomorrow, and y'all know ain't nothing better than a payday Friday. I will see you guys real soon. And shout out to everyone who was in the chat today. Shout out to everyone watching Jay and Bay Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Appreciate all the support. And Happy New Year to everyone. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Niners. Hopefully we can get some guys back off that injury list. See you guys in the next one.